Hello everyone, and just welcome to this audio podcast. This audio podcast is part of the Serology and Squil. This audio podcast is part of a Hustle and Serotype. This audio podcast is part of a Defcon premiere, and this audio podcast is part of a Storm Robotics production. In as part of the as part of the Defcon premiere, um, it was as part of this premiere and as part of this Storm Robotics production audio podcast or audio podcast or this audio podcast or sort of premiere sort of more generally it make from in and around the literature from in and around the literature some references or some citations that can be used to identify sort of the sort of sort of the sort of more intricate and sort of detailed aspects of sort of in around works research works in around the immune system for any listeners or viewers who want to delve into the literature. So some publication from in around 2000, in around the year 2000. So publication by Segreger and team, chemokines, looking at chemokine receptors and renal disease from basic science to pathophysiological and therapeutic studies, which was published in the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology in around 2000. A publication by Olson and Lay, a publication referred to as Chemokines and Chemokine Receptors in Leukocyte Trafficking, published in the American Journal of Physiological Regulatory regulatory and integrative physiology journal, which was published in around 2000, published in around 2002. A publication by Hancock and team, looking at recruitment of the chemokine receptor CXCR3 for AAR, acute allograft rejection, published in the Journal of Experimental Medicine in around the new millennia, in around the year 2000. A publication by Casieri and Springer, a publication looking at the chemokine receptor family and potential and progress for therapeutic intervention, published in the journal Current Opinions and chemistry and biology. I think the journal is the publication is from in around the year 2000, around the new millennia. And then I'm looking at publications in around sort of the pharmacotherapeutics. So works by Step Kowalski and team, looking at sirolimus in transplantation, published in Archives Immunology and Therapeutics and experiments or experimental, published in around 1997. And then a publication by Warrens, looking at tailor-made immunosuppression in renal transplantation, published in Nephron Clinical Practice, published in around 2003. Works by Finchetti, published in the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology in around 2003. And the publication is immunosuppression, minimization, and current and future trends in transplant immunosuppression. And then publication by a publication looking by Bowlers and team looking at treatment with the chimeric anti-interleukin 2 receptor alpha basiliximab affects both the interleukin 2 and interleukin 15 signaling pathways after clinical kidney transplantation, and published in Transplant Proceedings from in around 2001, and publication by investigators Gao, that's GAO, Gao and team are looking at the beneficial effects of targeting CCR5 in allograft recipients, published in Transplantation in the Journal of Transplantation in around 2001, and in regard to the NIHR Involve, publication is an NIHR publication from 2014 looking at the guidance on the use of social media, and the publication or the NIHR document or guidance looks at the use of social media in the context of healthcare, in context of healthcare services, and in context of where patients and professionals looking to join up aspects of healthcare services, and then there's publication by Mohammed and team looking at understanding education for healthcare service users aligned to social media platforms, published in the Journal of Kidney Care in around 2024, in around early 2024, and finally a publication by Reed and Locke. In around 2022, looking at reducing racial disparities in access to transplant in the United States, one step at a time, and published in the Journal of the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology. So those are some of the citations and references as part of this Defcon premiere. And listeners and viewers are welcome to use the citations and references to identify works, identify some of the works in around this audio podcast premiere as part of Storm Robotics production, but also to identify some of the more recent works in around some of the themes of this Defcon premiere also. So that draws this audio podcast to a close. This audio podcast is part of the Serology and Squil. This audio podcast is part of a Hustle and Serotype. This audio podcast as part of a Defcon premiere, and this audio podcast as part of a Storm Robotics production.